Hi, welcome to another video tutorial on SQL. In the last video we saw how to output data from a SQL table, and we used this table here, subjects, with the subjects in, the teachers, length of course, things like that. In this video I'm going to show you how to use an SQL statement to make one of these tables, and we're going to make a table to store information about the teachers. Okay, so what I'm going to do first then in my SQL window is I'm going to type create table. One of the things you'll notice is that for these keywords in SQL, it doesn't matter, they're not case sensitive. You can have them lowercase, so I could instead of having that as a capital, put table like that, or you can have them in all caps like that. It doesn't matter. And then after I've written create table, I need to say the name of my table. So this table is going to be called teachers. Then what I'm going to do is open some brackets, and what I'm going to define here is my columns and the data types of those columns and any special things about those columns. Okay, so to begin with, I'm going to define a teacher ID, so a unique identifier for each teacher. So teacher ID is the name of the column. Then its data type. Well, if it's a ID, it's going to be an integer. So I type int, and then the teacher ID is a bit different. It's got some special things about it. It's going to auto increment, because whenever we add a teacher, it's going to be, the ID is going to be one more, which is going to plus one to our ID. It's going to be a primary key because it's a ID, and it's going to be not null. All of these columns that I'm defining here are not null. Sometimes you might have a column that you allow to be null if it doesn't apply to every record in the database, for example. Okay, so first of all, then it's going to need to be a primary key. So just type primary key. Primary key. It's going to need to auto increment, so type auto increment, and it's not null. And then after I've finished defining that column, I put a comma. Then we go on to the next line, and I'm defining my next column. So the next column is going to be name. It's going to store the name of the teacher. So its data type is going to be a varchar. So this is what you would call a string in a programming language like Python. So varchar, and we're going to set a length, a maximum length for the name. So I'm going to set that at 50. No one's going to have a name that's longer than 50, very unlikely, so I'm just going to say it so that's 50. So then I'm going to say not null, because a teacher has got to have a name. Then put a comma, then move on to our next column, and then the next column is going to be the subject that they teach, so I'm going to say subject, and it's going to be a varchar, just like the name. So the length of 50 again, maximum length, and not null. Okay, so I'm going to have one more column. I'm going to have the number of days that the teacher works, and this is going to be an integer of length 1, because it's going to be a number between 1 and 5, and that's going to be not null. Okay, so that's we finished writing out SQL to define the teachers table, and then all we need to do now is run that. I missed out a underscore in between auto increments, so that needs an underscore in there. Let's try and execute that, and that's executed successfully. We can have a look at the structure of our teachers table now, and we can see it's created the teachers table how we defined it in the SQL statement. Days work, subject, name, teacher ID, and teacher ID is a primary key, and it's auto incremented, and all of these are not null. Varchar 50, 50, int length 11, int 1. I think in length 11 is the default if you don't specify it. So, okay, and that is how we create an SQL table with an SQL statement.